Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond 13th Gate. Today we're going to ask our Gators what kind of prior acting experience they have and how it relates to actual haunt acting.
If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat. And check it out.
Stole my line.
Being a haunt actor from a screen actor, I am actually a screen actor as well. It's different.
You know, I work as a street performer for parties. I say street performer. I'm a living statue. I make an hourly rate.
I'm actually a dancer primarily, so haunt acting is very different for me because the only other acting I've ever done was a play in high school.
Before getting into the haunt, I'd acted all throughout high school and, in theater and all that. And I've also helped with, friends' student films and all that. But I never really pursued it as a career, but I really enjoyed doing it.
So I don't have too much experience aside from drama club in middle school and high school. That's the big part of it. I did plays,
Before I did 13th Gate, I had a couple of short film credits, some of my friends that were in college for film, doing projects, and a buddy of mine that was just an enthusiast. He actually is a wedding videographer that does short film on the side, so I dabbled in that, but the difference in, acting on camera and acting off the cuff in a weird public space, it's pretty different.
I took theater in school, so this is more of a theater horizon. That's why my voice is really loud, and being on screen, I have to lower it a little bit. It's kind of,
You know less when you're in a haunt what your audience is going to be like than any other environment, I think, because the audience will become more antagonistic than any other environment. When you work as a comedian, you might get a heckler. You might get somebody who feels like they can upstage you. But that heckler probably isn't going to run on stage and punch you like we get punched and hit here.
So dance acting is very different because it's very animated. It's all with your body. You don't really talk. So it's all about facials and stuff like that, whereas actual haunt acting is kind of a little bit more physical but also vocal. So it's it's a challenge. It's something different that I'm not used to.
So wildly different from anything I've ever done on a stage, because you're doing cut, new audience, let's go. You got to be able to roll with it. It's the highest level of improv acting there is.
the real difference that I've noticed is that everything with haunt acting is quick. It's quick and it's fast. You have 5 seconds to make your point, to deliver your show to your audience, and the whole thing lasts 10 seconds. And then you perform your show again and again 100 times a night.
When you're on camera, you have, your moment to prepare and to take a shot this way and a shot that way. But when the lights go down and the house is live, every angle's available, and there's the audience is 100 eyes in the room, and they're all encircling you. It depends on your spot and where they're coming from and where they're going to, and you have to. It's way more on the fly, but there is the repetition that you get in multiple cuts, like in screen acting. But it's you get a different audience every time instead of the same camera over and over.
When you're a living statue and somebody starts being a jerk, there's this crowd mentality of somebody else is going to stop them before it gets too far. Somebody else in that crowd would be like, hey, don't punch that guy, that's a guy. You don't see that in a haunted house. I've never heard somebody in a haunted house be like, hey, be nice to that actor.
Getting close to people was something that I was not used to. I'm usually used to performing on a stage where I'm separated from the audience. So being 2 feet away from somebody where I had to get in their personal space was very different and very intimidating. But it helped me get out of my comfort zone and overcome a lot of anxieties that I had with stuff like that.
There's no way anything you'll ever do at a comedy club or in a theater, or even something as wild as Rocky Horror Picture Show, that's still scripted and they know what they're doing. This has a script, but it's a revolving door of audience every 30 seconds to a minute, and it's unpredictable, and you just got to be able to roll with it.
Improvising was a big thing that I was very iffy about. it's hard for me to think quickly on my feet. I usually don't think of anything clever until way after the fact. So I kind of like learn to develop little techniques that help me ease into stuff like that and get me more comfortable.
If I was to be in a horror movie, I would want to be the killer, the ghoul, the goblin of a monster. I don't think I would play a good role as a victim, because look, I will fight.
So you have this weird relationship where the next customer coming through might be the nicest person ever, might be a great scare, might thank you. You know, I had a guy stop in my scene last night and just thank me profusely for doing a good job, and that meant a lot. But, you know, I also had somebody trying to push me down Saturday night. So you never know what you're getting, and it might be worse than any other entertainer might have to deal with. And that's what's different about being a haunt actor. It's rewarding, and yet at the same time you have to go out there knowing you might get punched or seriously injured, and that takes a lot more courage than necessarily other forms of stage performance do.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoy learning about how haunt acting may differ from other forms of acting.
Make sure you stay tuned so you can see what other questions we're going to ask our Gators, and leave down in the comments the questions you'd ask our Gators.
See you next week.